Yes, hello. So it feels like Boxing Day after Christmas Day today, because yesterday, us Superman fans, us geeks, us nerds got the most amazing present. It was wrapped up for such a long time. We didn't know if it was going to be socks or a PlayStation 5 or what you actually value in life. We opened it up, and for me, it was a PlayStation 5 because James Gunn's Superman trailer is something that made so many of us so happy. It made me so happy. I did a video yesterday and posted it. I did a kind of my thoughts before I saw the trailer, then posted it after the trailer had released. I thought it would be an interesting thing to do. And I had a lot of skepticism, didn't I? I've had a lot of skepticism about James Gunn making a Superman movie. And today, just like after I heard his quotes, I'm feeling a lot more relaxed about him making a Superman movie. But just because we've seen a great Superman trailer, for most of us, not everyone, some people in the minority are not happy with what they saw. But I am happy with everything I saw. But just because I'm happy with everything I saw, because a trailer is just a bunch of scenes put together with some great music. That music from John Murphy, that reimagining of John Williams' iconic Superman theme is so inspirational. We all had our doubts about John Murphy, you know, composing the theme to this Superman movie. We wanted a Zimmer, we wanted a bigger name. But by the way, I love his music in the Suicide Squad, but I thought, can this guy really go there with a Superman movie? He's already proving it. And music in that trailer, it was a great choice by James Gunn, beautifully composed by John Murphy. But just because this trailer is brilliant, and it is brilliant, by the way, it doesn't mean this movie is going to be brilliant as well. Of course, I hope it will be brilliant, genuinely. I'm not one of those who wants this movie to fail. I want it to be great. But I tell you how I'm feeling today after watching that trailer. It feels like Superman Returns 2006 all over again. It feels like Man of Steel 2013 all over again. I'm now feeling that excitement for an upcoming Superman movie. And before I was like all questioning, all very suspicious of James Gunn and the studio. But that trailer absolutely floored me. It surprised me because after all, it is a teaser and you don't expect to see so much footage. And maybe it feels like you're getting more footage because it's all coming at you at once, but we got a lot. We saw a lot from the beginning. Now, let's talk about the criticisms from some people. This trailer has now amassed over 20 million views. That's amazing. That might be a WB record. I don't think it's a record all round with the other studios, but certainly, you know, again, it looks like there is an interest, a real interest from the general audience about this film. Something that I doubted, so I was wrong then. It's, again, when you're making your points, it's okay to be wrong. So let's look at the criticisms. Some people don't like the opening of this trailer, the fact that Superman is injured and bleeding. And some people are saying, but I thought James Gunn was going to give us a more hopeful Superman. Again, the Man of Steel Superman, the Henry Cavill Superman, is hopeful. He talks about his crest being a symbol of hope, right? When I first saw the main Man of Steel trailer, and he's on his knees and he's touching the snow and he's shutting his eyes and he's flying up and we get Zimmer's Gladiator music, I'm thinking, fuck me, we're going to get something incredibly special. And in my opinion, we did. And it was the same thing when I saw this trailer, right? But people are complaining, oh, James Gunn's supposed to be inspirational and hopeful. We are going to get an inspirational and hopeful Superman. But at first, he's bruised, he's battered. People are blaming him, right? It's interesting, right? We'll get to the colour palette and the colours popping, because that's a kind of, there's been a divisive reaction to the colours, which again, I think it's pathetic, right? But anyway, we'll get with that criticism in a moment as well. So the idea, this is what Zack was attempting to do. A lot of you misunderstood that. He wanted to start Superman off with being questioned by the public, but by the end of Justice League Part 3, he would be the Superman we all know and love, leading out a metahuman army. And I think in a lot of ways, James is attempting to tell a similar story. I think James Gunn may like the Snyder way of telling a story more than people maybe would like him to. So people were quite surprised that the trailer opened with a bloodied Superman. And we get a lot of somber Superman moments. So apart from the colour popping, this is a quite somber trailer. A lot of the Superman elements are quite somber. And I'm here for it. And that has a kind of similar beat to Man of Steel. And that isn't a bad thing to me. That's a good thing. I warned you all that James Gunn was never going to give you 2 hours of gags and smiles. A lot of you misunderstand what type of storyteller James Gunn is. He does invoke really deep themes if you're actually watching his stuff and paying attention. Now let's talk about the colour palettes, right? Because there's been a lot of criticism of this. I'm not a one-size-fits-all kind of guy. I was fine with Zack Snyder reducing the colour. But I'm also here for James Gunn bringing the colour back in. James Gunn, many months ago, spoke about comic book characters being silly, and we all kind of thought, James, what are you saying? But I kind of get what he was trying to say. What he's saying is that he wants to embrace what the comics are instead of being ashamed of what the comics are. And I think it's about time comic book movies do embrace what the comics are, because there is a lot of silliness. One of the criticisms in the trailer is how Guy Gardner looks. Well, hang on a minute. 1 minute you want comic book accuracy, and when we actually get a comic book accurate Guy Gardner, you're all complaining. So make your minds up. It's a bit like Kate Bosworth's Lois Lane is too young criticism and Amy Adams' Lois Lane is too old criticism. As I say, make your damn minds up, right? I think the casting is amazing in this film. We'll get to Corin Sweat in a moment. But Rachel Brosnahan, in the amazing critically acclaimed show, The Fabulous Miss Maisel, it's one of the best dramas ever made. It's an amazing show, and she was amazing. She was prolific in that show. And I was a bit concerned with some of the names auditioning for Lois Lane. You know, some actresses who want to come out and say things and hurt people. Well, Rachel isn't one of those people. Now, on the press release, she was quoted talking about Lois. She gets it. She's saying the right things. People always ask, why does James Gunn work with the same type of people? And I always give the Game of Thrones analysis, right? There's 75% of Littlefingers in this business, and there's 15% of Jon Snows. You would rather go into battle with Jon Snow, right? Not Littlefinger. And that's the whole point. That's why people like Chris Nolan and James Gunn work with people that they trust. Family members, friends, but familiar people who are also talented. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that, because there's not many people in this biz you can actually trust. But a lot of us woke up this morning with, with a spring in our step because of this Superman trailer. This is how I felt when I saw the Superman Returns trailer and when I saw the main trailer for Man of Steel and the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith trailer. Excited to see a movie, feeling that fantasy, that escapism, being immersed in a world via over 2 minutes of footage, and the footage is great. My favourite moment of that trailer is Superman holding the hand of, his compatriot, his Kryptonian android compatriot, and looking so devastated. This is clearly someone or something that means something to Kal, Superman, Clark. And then there's the criticism of the way Clark Kent's hair looks. Right, if you just put glasses, right, on an actor playing Superman and he just acts all cool in the Daily Planet, he's just Superman with glasses. Now, Christopher Reeve wasn't Superman with glasses. He hunched his back, he acted clumsy, and it was a great disguise. I'm not going to allow anyone to say, oh, well, Christopher Reeve was just Superman with the glasses. No, 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 no. He had a proper disguise in the way he moved his body shape and his body language, and it was a great, creative conceit from Dick Donner and Christopher Reeve. And David Corenswet, who was immense in this trailer, first of all, I like a tall Superman. I'm not doing down shorter actors who have played Superman because they've done a great job as well. But it's great that I think Corenswet is the tallest actor to ever play this role, and that's good. But when he's Clark, he has to hunch down a bit like Chris Reeve was doing, and that's a brilliant thing. So we see that they're going to embrace the romance between Clark and Lois. Now, I want to correct myself on a couple of things I said on my reaction. First of all, that character with the face, with no skin on it, that's Metamorpho, not Brainiac. It doesn't mean we won't get a Brainiac, we probably won't, but who knows? But that's Metamorpho. And I asked the question, does Lois know that Clark is Superman? Well, there's a moment when Clark and Lois are kissing and Clark's not wearing the specs. So at that moment, I'm assuming he comes out and tells her he's Superman, because in All-Star Superman, I think he does come out to Lois in that movie as well. And James is embracing that movie. As I say, I have had my doubts about this movie. I will continue to have some reservations until I actually see the movie. As I said earlier, it doesn't mean we're getting a great movie just because the trailer's great. But what it is, for me, is so far so good. None of my opinions are meant to hurt anyone. If you're someone who doesn't want this movie to do well, who doesn't like James Gunn, and you're hearing me oozing about James Gunn, you're hearing me oozing about this trailer, I don't mean to hurt you, it's just my view. I'm not here to hurt people, I'm just here to tell you what I think. It's not my opinion's only valid to me, and your opinion is valid to you. That's why people say, in my opinion. So when Mauler says he doesn't like people saying, in my opinion, he's actually wrong. Because what people mean is, it's my opinion. It's valid to me and nobody else. It's meant to make people understand that we're not trying to say that we're totally right? You get me, right? So I'm not out to upset anyone. I know this is a splintered fan base, but maybe James Gunn can actually do the impossible and unite us. And wouldn't that be an amazing thing? But today, it feels so special to be a Superman fan and to see those amazing moments, to see the child with the flag. That was amazing. Look, there's so many moments to break down. It's insane. And in the coming days, in the coming weeks, we are going to continue to talk about this trailer and all the stuff we have seen. But I tell you what, I had that music from John Murphy. John Murphy's rendition of the theme from John Williams on repeat on Spotify this morning. It's so great. It's just so great to wake up in the morning and to be looking forward to something that could be a great movie. And so far, so good.